Hi fellow stampers, Terry here. I have received a special request for a video tutorial on how to ink stamps. When fellow crafters sign up for my customer newsletter, I send them an email right away saying, what is your biggest crafting need, or what is it that you would like me to help you with? Maybe a struggle that you're having and so on. And I often get the same request. When I ink my stamps, it doesn't work out well. I smudge, or I smear, or I get an extra line. Can you show me how to ink my stamps? So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you 3 different kinds of stamps that Stampin' Up! Sells, and I'm going to show you the technique that I use to ink and stamp so that I get a nice, clear, and crisp image. So the first kind of stamp I'm going to show you is from the brand new Birthday Bright stamp set. This stamp set is going to be featured in the Occasions catalog. It's a photopolymer stamp, which means that you can see right through it. So I have mounted it to a clear block, and I'm going to use the basic black archival stamp pad. So this kind of stamp pad is a little bit different than the other kinds of stamps that we sell, or ink pads we sell, because it's more of a cloth kind of ink pad. So when I ink up my photopolymer stamp, especially one that has a line image and a solid part, I do a couple of different methods. I usually stamp lightly, or press the stamp lightly, and then I kind of use a twisting motion. And then I actually, literally, turn it over and look at it and see that it's nice and juicy. If it's not, if there's parts of the stamp that are still showing as uninked, I just go back and I very lightly, I think this is the mistake that a lot of people make, is they put way too much pressure on the ink pad. And then I just stamp it down. I hold it in place. I'm not pressing really, really hard, just firmly. And then I lift straight up. And there's a nice, clean, crisp image. So that's a photopolymer using an archival ink pad. Now, the other thing I'd like to say is, perhaps if you're having trouble inking a nice, clear image, it might be time to re-ink your ink pads. I can do a separate video tutorial on that one day if you want, but make sure that your ink pad is nice and juicy and has lots of ink in it, because that could be a reason why your image is not coming out nice and clear. So the next kind of stamp I'm going to feature is a wood block, where we've got a rubber image that you mount yourself onto a wood block. And I'm going to use Island Indigo for this image. Now, I chose this one because it has some very fine print on it. It's a train, and it's I think I can, I think I can. Now, this kind of stamp pad is a foam pad, so it's really squishy. So when you are going to ink using this kind of a foam pad, you don't want to press really hard, because if you do, you're going to get ink around the rubber on the outside of the image. And then when you stamp down on it, you're going to get that ghosting image around there, which completely spoils the look. Now, because this is a very fine kind of font on this, I do the same thing. I turn it over and I look at it, and I can see that it is not completely inked. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to tap lightly all over the ink pad. I'm going to look again. There's still no ink around the outside, so it's good to go. I'm going to press it down, and then I'm going to lift it straight up. And you can see here I have a nice clean image, and I can see all of the print. Now, the other thing I'd like to share with you is that we sell this grid paper, and the grid paper is perfect for practicing. It's good for placement. You can see here that this didn't ink up very well. So if you're in doubt, buy a pad of this grid paper and practice. That's what this is for. Keep trying, keep practicing until you start to get nice, clean images. All right, so the final stamp that I want to show you is our clear mount. So you use a clear block and you get a rubber stamp with it. And I'm going to use Daffodil Delight. And you can see this one was recently re-inked. And I'm going to show you one other tool that is really good if you're having trouble inking images so that the ink flows across. It's this specialty pad that we sell, and it helps the ink travel smoothly across. So if you have an uneven work surface, this takes away that unevenness. So I'm going to ink my stamp the same way. I'm going to use a little bit of a twisting motion. I'm going to travel my stamp all over the pad. Then I'm going to turn and look at it. I don't know if you can see it here, but I have pressed too hard and I have some ink that's around the outer edge. Let me show you what happens when I rock and roll. If I roll or I move my stamp like this, look what happens. I get a ghosting image. That's not what you want. So immediately I use our Stampin' Scrub and Mist. I'll clean it off, stamp randomly, and then I'm going to ink it again. This time I'm going to be much more careful about how I press. I've got no ink now around the outside, and I'm going to go straight down and straight up. I'm not going to rock my stamp. If I do that, then that ghosting happens. And there we go. A nice, clean, crisp image for whatever project I want to work on it with. I hope that this video tutorial has given you some new insights on how to ink and stamp your images so that they become crisp and clear and perfect for whatever project you're working on. If you have other requests for video tutorials, please email me at terri@nutsaboutsstamping.com, and I'll be happy to make a video tutorial just for you. I'm Terri, I'm Nuts About Stamping. Bye for now.